Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Heather Harvin, and I am getting ready to do a podcast with There's Food in the House. Whoop, whoop. And I'm super excited. I am going to be discussing my new project, the Back and Forth EP that's coming out this summer. Check out the Dang Bae shirt for my first single off the album, Dang Bae. And I'm super excited. You'll be able to find this interview on my IGTV, so stay tuned. Alrighty.
Hey y'all, it is Adrienne, your PR diva, coming to you live from There's Food in the House. You know, this is the podcast where you don't touch nothing, you don't ask for nothing, because we have food in the house. And today we are going to be talking to my homegirl from a distance, Be More sister.
Yes, Be More.
Yes. I got the email. I was like, from Baltimore. I said, oh.
All day, every day. Be More's finest, okay?
Yes, we got to bring her on. And so, well, I'll have you introduce yourself first and give a little background, and then we can just jump right into it.
Alrighty. Okay, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. But yes,
Thank you.
I feel super honored. My name is Heather Harvin. I am born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. Yes. I rep Be More all day, every day. I am a huge Ravens fan, and I know that we're going to come back in 2021. Super Bowl is ours. But, yes. So I'm originally from the West Side, and then my parents, they moved to Owens Mills, and I went to school for the arts in high school. And just,
Okay, so
yes.
I'm going to cut you off real quick because they did not accept me.
What?
Clarinet. Oh my gosh, I went and did all my little auditions, and they told me I was devastated in the 6th grade.
No. Oh my God. It is such a hard school to get into, but luckily, did you do the Twigs program?
I did do Twigs, yes.
Because a lot of us from Twigs, we made it into the actual program, but whoa, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can delete that part. I'm from Baltimore. I did, we don't have to mention BSA.
No, it's all good. I've gotten over it. That's okay.
But hey, now you're doing your thing, girl, so it's their loss.
Yes. And you are too, so let's talk about that. Being from Baltimore, you mentioned West Side, East Side, teacher. And so we are known for The Wire, we're known for Murder, we're known for Homicide, but you went opera.
I did.
Wow.
Crazy.
I don't think I know. I don't even know if, and I hate, I'm just saying, it's just, I'm being facetious when I say it, but I don't know if anyone in Baltimore knows anybody that has gone to one opera, that sings opera, that pays attention to opera. So how did that happen?
So at a very young age, my mother put me into vocal lessons. And so when it comes to the voice, the best technique is classical and opera training. And so I started off, with that training, and it really wasn't until I entered the Twigs program, ironically, where my teacher at the time, she was a former opera singer, professional opera singer, and so she was like, I really feel like you have a natural gift to do it, and so why don't we just explore, why don't we see where we can go with this? And so when I went to high school, the main focus in BSA, it is classical music, so that is the foundation. We do have programs, we do a little jazz, some soul, R&B, but 24/7, your focus is classical and opera. So I worked so hard. I mean, literally, I'm like, I'm when you just like, I was eating and breathing music so much that classical was my life. It consumed all of me. So I just thought, well, hey, this is my path. This is where God wants to take me. So let's see where I can go with this. And so the plan actually was to go to Paris to actually do an internship and really, perform and kind of build my career that way. And then I studied in Washington National Opera for a summer. I went to NYU for their classical program for a summer, thinking that was literally where my career was just headed. That's how I was being molded. And so it was rare because, to be honest, there's not many African-American operatic singers in the industry, and so I wanted to capitalize off of that as well. But I turned 18, I graduated high school, and I'll be honest, I was super young and super emo, very emo, and naturally I'm not an emotional person, but I was just in a phase where I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do opera. I want to be the next Whitney Houston. So I'm moving to LA. And then I just did a complete, literally complete 180. Like I just shifted. And but I will say, even in college, because classical music is the foundation and it's a great technique for vocals, I still was trained by a classically trained singer. I still see her to this day every Sunday in Encino. I still did competitions, even though my focus shifted to more R&B. I mean, yes, the technique and the foundation is needed with classical music, but I still appreciate it. I mean, it's something that a lot of people can't do, and if you, it's so beautiful and it's very moving in its own way. So I know that was a very long-winded answer, but it just kind of fell into my lap, and now we're here.
No, it was good. It's good because you do want to touch on that because a lot of people study and learn classical but don't know unless you're trained.
Right.
You have virgin singers, virgin ears, things of that nature, and they're performing classical or learning classical. They don't know that it's necessarily classical, or they don't know potential for operatic sound, things of that nature, because they haven't been trained that way. And then, like you mentioned, for African American individuals, that number is even lower. So, how was that for you? How did it feel any different being one of the only one in that area?
So in school, it did not, because a lot of people in BSA and a lot of us, we were all African American. So in school, but it wasn't until when I would do competitions, when I came to LA, went to college, really stepping outside of the four walls of BSA, that's when I realized, okay, this is real. Not only do I have to look better, be more presentable, not only do I have to make sure that my pitch is perfect, like I have to make sure I'm 2 steps ahead, because I'm standing next to a girl that has the same vocal abilities as I do, the same background as far as just training, but because she is, and I'm light, but it's because she's, I have to be that much better. And so, in the real world, it got very real. And I am grateful for the training that I got at BSA, because they did give us an audition prep course where it prepared me. So I wasn't too, thrown off, but I definitely saw okay, wow, this is a real thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay, awesome. So when you transitioned and took that leap to LA, how did that work out for you? Did you go over there and find exactly what it was that you were looking for, or did you get over there and was like, nope?
I know. Yeah, like I said, when I was 18, it was crazy. I would have panic attacks. I was just I was just in a weird space mentally and emotionally. And so I thought that moving 3,000 miles away from my family, being by myself, wanting to be independent would change everything. And it didn't, It was a culture shock when I got to LA, because on the East Coast, and like I said, in Baltimore, we hustle. And so when you come to LA, it's very lax and very chill. And it really threw me for a loop, because, here, where we come from, we have to really earn and work for everything. But unfortunately, not all of my friends out here, but, I saw that a lot of people in the California area, especially Los Angeles, everything's handed to them. And so that was a culture shock. But I will say, it really wasn't until, I've been here for 11 years now, almost 12. So it really wasn't until 7 years ago, after I graduated college, when I was an adult, I was in a space spiritually where I had walked away from God. I lost my foundation. And it wasn't until I studied the Bible. I'm being completely honest. It really wasn't until I studied the Bible. So 7 years after being in LA, that was the time in the pinnacle where I finally felt okay, you know what? I'm meant to be here. I feel stable. I feel sustained. I have faith. But it took me a while to really discover and find myself, who Heather really is. So.
Yeah, and I tell people that all the time. Unless you're from Baltimore, you just don't know Baltimore. Yeah. We just move differently.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. It was.
And I know people. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, please.
Yeah, no, I know people will say that about their own city. People feel like their city is different, or it's I may have grown. But Baltimore is truly a different.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's sad because we have that stigma, like you said, The Wire, and then the drug, gang, everything. And so every time when I say, oh, I'm from Baltimore, I get the same, oh, you live by the wire? Oh, let me not mess with you. You know what I mean? And it's sad because I'm like, no, if you really want to know, like us Baltimoreans, like we hustle, we work hard, we have to fight for ours, you know, like understand. And like you said, every city, they have their own little kinks and everything, but in Baltimore, like we really understand hard work.
Yes.
So yeah, I feel you, girl.
And I know that you do a lot with encouraging and empowering women. So,
yes.
you know, what you got from Baltimore, how does that help you with, and I know you mentioned that in LA, it seems like people get things handed to them more often than not. So when you deal with someone like that who may not know the hustle or the grind or don't know how to empower themselves, how does that help you when you speak to them?
Absolutely. So, one thing that I'm really grateful for is I had the example of hustling from, prominent women in my life, my mom, my mentors, my teachers, and I think even men as well. And so what I have been able to do, and I'm so grateful, like out here in LA, specifically, like I mentor a lot of women. So quality time is my love language. So I'm all about one-on-one time. And I really believe that, I like learning, and I also like applying what I'm learning and helping others. And so I love just mentoring women. I love working with them one-on-one, like showing them like, hey, this was taught to me. This is what I do. Let me show you how to do it. Like, let me help you. As I'm being helped, I'm going to help you. And so, and I'm grateful for that because I really believe that that is something that I gained from living in Baltimore. Like, nobody's left behind. It's a family. It's a camaraderie, you know what I mean? Like we really have that unity and we really look out for one another. And so I'm really trying to instill that out here and with the girls that I mentor out in LA. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's the truth. I laugh because it's like you can't talk bad about me. I can talk bad about you. Right.
Yeah, you can't say anything bad.
Yes. Talk bad and make fun of it all the time, but you can't say a word. So I know you've had several singles that have come out.
Yes.
And that will be the first year that you're doing a full album. So take us through that process.
Oh, yeah, I know. Okay. Yes. I know. I'm like, oh, wow. So this past Christmas, two of my closest friends, we all go to church together, so they sat me down and they were like, hey, Heather, you have a gift. Amen. Thank you, God. You have a gift. And so what if we really show the world, your gifts? I've done the singles, and the singles were just like little fillers that I would just put out so that way my friends and family could just see like, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm working on. It wasn't, like I said, when I first moved out here at 18, I wanted to be the next Whitney Houston, but as life happened, I really wanted to take a step back and do behind the scenes and really invest in someone else's career. Like I wanted to do the songwriting, as I'm mentoring women, like I really wanted to help shape and mold their careers because I'm like, I feel more fulfilled helping someone else become something better than me. And so Christmas happens and my friends are like, you know what, we appreciate you being, the person that you are and really taking a step back and helping others, but now let us help you and let's do this project. Let's do an album. Share with the world, what you've been going through. Share your story via song, a visual album, and just really just express yourself with one big musical piece. And so now we're here months later. It is very nerve-wracking for me. It is very vulnerable for me. But something
what's creating those nerves?
I know.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the nerve-wracking part is because I'm sharing my story, with the world. And it's different when I shared one-on-one with people because it's a safer space, it's more private. I'm a very private person.
Right.
I have no problem being open, but it's like within the privacy of a one-on-one conversation. So okay. I know, but to go public with my story, and all of the emotions that I went through and all of the pain, you know, just kind of and even reliving the story as I wrote the songs, you know, we filmed the video, you know, it's just, it was rough. And but it was something that needed to happen, because if I say that I'm all about women's empowerment, and if I say that I want to, you know, be a better person and make this world a better place, then it starts with me, you know. I need to be vulnerable, and I need to be transparent, and I need to share my story, because you never know what, you know, my story could impact someone else. And so that is, yeah, now we're here.
And you mentioned Christmas, and
Yes.
I've had this conversation with my husband, because forever I was like, where are the holiday writers? Why are there no new Christmas songs? Why is everything a remake? And we that conversation. And I'm just curious about that, because I know, you know, every now and then someone will come up with an original holiday piece. But I just was curious as to why that segment of music just always seems to be remix.
I know, it's crazy. I think, I mean, if you really think about Christmas, the first thing that I think about the classics. I think because Christmas is one of the few holidays that we have in the world where it promotes positivity, it promotes, you know, love. It's a time where even if you had the suckiest year, at least at Christmas, you can let that go for a day or two and just be joyous. And so I think that tied in just with the music, it's like you don't want to mess up, you know, you don't want to mess up the brand behind music.
Right.
You don't want to mess up, you know, the aura behind the music. And so, I mean, Mariah Carey did it with her album, and so, but I mean, that's one of very few. So my personal opinion is that I think people just don't really want to mess with the, you know, the essence behind the Christmas spirit when it comes to the music, for sure.
Yeah, and I was just curious about that. I said, because it was like, you know, every so often whenever I'm out with a new song, it would still be mostly a deviation or remake.
Yeah, a cover, yeah.
Yeah, with the words added to it or taken away, or they changed the beat or something like that. And I was just like, why do they do that to Christmas music?
I know, that's like, Christmas is the one holiday that we just can't change, you know? I think with Easter and Valentine's Day and all of these other holidays, they really, society has changed it. But Christmas, for some reason, like, it literally, everybody knows Jesus was born on this day, and we are all in great spirits. So,
right. So how has the journey changed you over this time? And, you know, I may have asked early on, is this going to be when you grow up? But you've always had a foot in music, and that's always been your place. So how has the journey changed over the years? I know, you left at 18 and you made that huge decision, and then 7 years ago you got your foundation with God back in, you know, throughout that process also to get you here. What has that journey been like for you?
It's been a roller coaster. Like I said, deep down, I'm really not an emotional person, but I feel like these last 11 years, I have felt every emotion. I've been through every situation, you know what I mean? Even like things from dealing with my past hurts, like trying to deal with traumas, you know, just trying to work through that, healing. I would say the main thing, like the last 11 years has been a time of, yes, exposure, but really healing. Emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, even vocally, my vocals have grown so much, and I'm super grateful just from the training that I've gotten here. But I would definitely say it's been a time, it's been a very up and down time, but also it was a much needed time. Like I said, I needed this time in my life to really understand who I am as a woman, who I am as a Black woman, who I am as a child of God, and who I am just in this world. So yeah, it's definitely exposed like who I am and where I want to go and where I need to be, for sure.
Awesome. So what do you think will be different after, and not what you think, because obviously these are assumptions. So what are you expecting after the album that may be different from you releasing these singles, all the singles that you released?
I think people will That's a great question. I'm like, how can I answer this very tactfully? I think people will be shocked by my story because I can mask a lot of things where, I'm great on the outside, I'm all fun, I'm perky. But to really, like I said, share those dark moments, I think people will be shocked. But I also think people will see that I'm a real person. Heather goes through life. Heather has her ups and downs. Heather is not always this perky chick from B-more. Heather is a girl that's been through a lot and, has really fought and overcome a lot of adversity. So, yeah, I think it's just a realistic point of view will be exposed about me, and I think the response will be great. I think people will appreciate me being vulnerable and the transparency. And I mean, it might build my fan base, but to be honest, like completely honest, I'm like, I don't care about building my fan base. If anything, I'm like, even if my story, like I said, if it reaches one person and somebody's like, I went through that too. What did you do to really work through that and heal from that? If I could just share like my steps in the healing, amen. Like, I'm good. So.
And it's so weird because you pulled the word that popped into my head was vulnerability, and then you said it out loud, which means I was on the right path.
Yes. See? Hey. Okay, girl.
I know, because I was in my mind, I was like, okay, I had the question ready, and then you said it out loud, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vulnerability.
So my question was, we had to, and as Black women, to a lot of times hide that side of us. We can't be vulnerable.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was I had an opportunity to ask Stacey Abrams a question about her campaign and things that happened surrounding that. And my question to her was, how do you effectively deal with people who are being negative towards you or who are waiting for you to be vulnerable without acting like the angry Black woman?
Yes.
And she had a great answer, so I asked you the same thing, because so many times if we are telling our truth or correcting incorrect information, we aren't taken at face value. We're just angry.
Yeah. Yes.
So how do you feel about that, or what do you think about that?
I completely agree with you, and I think a lot of it's just true. And I when I say I talk about this with my friends a lot, I'm like, my friend Marisha's next to me. She's shaking her head like, yep. I think the main thing is I think people misconstrue our anger with our passion. So, Black women, yes, we're raised to be strong. We're raised to be aggressive in a sense of really being a go-getter, but also we're raised to be passionate and to be a go-getter and really going after what it is that, things that said that we can't do it, like we're encouraged to go after those things. And so I think because we become so passionate about what we believe in and what we do in life, it gets misconstrued with, oh no, she's angry, no. And it's like, no, I'm not angry, I'm not mad, I don't want to burn the house down. I'm passionate. No, you're literally like, I'm passionate about this situation. I'm passionate about what I believe in. I'm actually passionate about who you can be. But because you won't let me do my job, yeah, I'm upset because you're dwindling my passion. You know what I mean? Like you're muting the one thing that I'm so passionate about, and it hurts. We're not angry, like it hurts us at our core. And I think over the years, I know I keep bringing it back to God, but like literally, hands down, if it were not for the scriptures,
No, I understand.
like, literally, like really forcing the scriptures to overrule my thoughts and my feelings. So really choosing to say, okay, you know what God says, turn the other cheek. Okay, you know what God says, that he can do immeasurably more. You know what God says, that, be faithful in prayer, joyful in affliction, patient, like all of that. So I'm choosing to let the scriptures dictate my responses. I'm choosing to let the scriptures dictate my presence, my energy, my life. And we will see what the results are of that. And so I say all that to say, literally, I mean, for me, I just have to go back to the scriptures. I have to own the scriptures. I have to apply the scriptures to my life. I have to, and also too, I have a group of women that I, get open with things about, and I ask for guidance. How should I respond to this? What should I do about this? Like, what is the proper way? Because I don't want to, I don't want to harp up this stigma of Black women. If anything, I want to diminish it and show like, hey, actually, we're like this, And for me, that comes from really applying the scriptures. So, yeah.
So tell us about the album.
Yes. Okay. Woo. The part where I was like, I hope she doesn't get to it, but no. So, I know. Oh my God. So okay.
If you don't want to, we can.
No. This is great. This is me practicing vulnerability, and so I'm a woman of my word. Okay. So the album is called the Back and Forth EP. EP is an extended playlist. I'm sure you knew that, but so the Back and Forth EP, and it's just 6 songs of various love stories within my life. It's unfortunate, I feel like a lot of people's pains comes from love. So it talks about just the beginning phases of love, when you meet somebody and it's like that honeymoon phase, and you're like, oh my gosh, you tell your girls, oh, I just met this guy, and you go on dates, and everything is just, it's like nothing could stop this feeling. Everything is so good, and then of course life happens, right? And as you mature, and then as men mature later than women, but as he matures, right. But just as you mature and get older, life happens, and so you see that this person that you once were just on cloud 9 with, now you're on cloud 10 and he's on cloud 11. You two are just on 2 different pages. And so the progression of the album like literally talks about just a love story from beginning to end, from meeting to the honeymoon phase to arguments, really having hard conversations about possibly breaking up, and just the heartbreak and the pain. And then even in this case, just to be very honest, he moves on and I don't, and this is a true story, I am,
Okay.
yeah, I'm very,
and I think it's probably a true story for
a lot of women go through that, where it's like, and then next thing you know, you see your guy, you see him with a chick that's, let me not go there. Yeah, let me not go there. I ain't gonna go there. But you see him with someone that is not like you, and then all of a sudden they get married in like 6 months, and you're like, well, wait a minute. I just spent a year and a half, 2 years devoting my life to really loving you, and I thought something was wrong with me, and you didn't want to get married, but all of a sudden, it takes you 6 months with this chick. Like, and I'll be honest, like one time, to be completely honest, it took me 3 years to get over a guy. Literally.
Oh, wow.
3 years.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that's obviously 3 years that I can't get back, but it is something, but I can write about it, you know what I mean? I can fuel that pain into lyrics. I can turn it into a story, via music. And so that's literally, it's just the Back and Forth EP. And the back and forth part is, hey, we've all been there. You break up, you make up, you break up, you make up. You want to do this, you don't want to do this. But what about this? What about that? But no, I like you. No, I don't like you. But I do. I love you. Do I love you? It's just the constant back and forth. And we all go through that. And honestly, outside of relationships, I feel like just as adults, there comes a point in our lives where we are back and forth about a big decision within our life, moving forward with something in our life. So I just hope that the world can relate and it can brighten somebody's day.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, because I've been there. Like I said, I think that, and very similar to what you said, or very reminiscent of what you said, there have been people, and it's documented that we prepare people for the next person. So when you see situations happen where you've been with them for years and there was no forward movement, no progression, no talk of marriage or anything like that, but then as soon as you break up, like you said, 6 months, a year later, they already not just with someone else but married to someone else.
Yes. It's like, wait a minute, but I'm confused. You literally just told me that you weren't ready to get married, and you got on my case about hounding you because I do want to get married. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be your wife. I'm passionate about me and my role as a woman, and a black woman being your backbone. You don't know, but for real though, like, and okay, so, and then you just gonna move on like that, okay?
Right, yeah, it's a lot. We deal with and we go through a lot, but I am excited to hear the music.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it, and I am super excited about this conversation. Let everyone know how they can find you.
Yes. So you can follow me on Instagram at Heather Harvin, Harvin, as well as Facebook and Twitter and everything else. But main thing is IG. Follow me on IG at Heather Harvin. Yes.
Awesome, Heather. Thank you so much, my Be More sister.
Thank you, girl. Yes. I'm doing my little dance.
I am so appreciative of your time. Thank you so much for joining us on There's Food in the House. We will talk to y'all next time.
Yes, thank you. Bye, girl.